as prepared. I don't have a verse, but this is Kosovo. So our team, I was part of the red team in Kosovo, and I was a small group leader, a medical team leader, and the medical team coordinator. So it's a big honor to do all three. First year that I've been a small group leader, so very cool. And I try to do my best with my team. So in the first picture here, this is a lady whose house we went to. You see how it's made of just this twig and the mud. And this was kind of covering her front door, which actually she had a door. A lot of them just have blankets for doorways. So she actually had a lock on her door. And she was she was so excited that we would come to her house. And I was so excited to go because in 2007 when I went, I really wanted to go out to the people. And at that time, because we were new to the Pangani, this is in Kosovo, but we went to Pangani, Mary, who was the leader, thought that it'd be too risky. Mary Jo Witt and I both went as physicians, and she thought it was too risky for us to go to the community, that we would be attacked. So it was so exciting that so much has happened between 2007 and now that we were actually safe enough to go out and to the homes, which is what I wanted to do. So this lady was so excited that we would come to her house, and she unlocked the door, and right around the corner, you can't really see it, she has a very, very low roof, which you could kind of see on some of the pictures, and I bumped my head on the roof, and pieces of the roof came off because it was so low, and we were in a very teeny little narrow way to get to her house, like a little roadway like this big. I was tiptoeing across. So I hit my head, all the shoes, she had shoes on top of a roof that were drying, they all fell off the roof, and part of her roof came off. So I was so embarrassed, and I apologized, and she ran right over and grabbed me, making sure I was okay, and she was so sad that I would get hurt at her house. And I was so humbled that she would care that much. This is actually another house, but inside, you see these are very small areas, and we brought these big backpacks on our back, and here's some of the medicine that your support actually helped us bring, so thank you. And again, the sock that Sue talked about, they were so excited to get the sock, it had so many neat things in it. And we would see each one of these kids and their parents. These are kids from the school usually, and unlike school here, we would be maybe half a mile from the school, and word would get out that we were at these kids' house, and the school would send the kids over so we could see them, their parents, and then the kids would go back to school. So it's really cool. This is more of our team. These are the Che workers that Sue was talking about. There's Timothy and William, and then Kathy Johnson was with us, and then more of the people we were visiting. As word got out that we were around the village, people who didn't get to have us visit their house followed us around, and they followed us back to the center to see if we would also see them. So these are some of the people that we saw at the center also. More of the people that we saw at the center, and this is my equipment here, and this little boy wanted to check his mom out after I checked him out. So I was checking him out, and so he took the utensils and then checked his mom out. This is Joelle. Forget me in the dance there, but that's kind of at the goodbye ceremonies. I wanted to really show Joelle. There were two people that really stood out to me on this as we were making these visits. Joelle is married and has a couple children, and he wanted to be seen right away, so he was one of the first people we went to see when we went there out to the home visits, and he was very sick and he thought he was dying. He actually had pneumonia, and we gave him some medication, and a couple days later in the village we saw him, and he was so excited because he was feeling better. So we invited him to church, and he came to church that Sunday and stood on the podium where they have kind of a time like this, and people get up and say what they're grateful for, and he said he was grateful to God and to the team for coming and taking care of him because he felt so much better. Oh, we missed one. Peter, who was a medical clinic. There was a picture that somehow didn't make it, but there was one other person that I wanted to talk about, and that was Peter, and he was sitting in front of a medical clinic, or their version of a medical clinic there, which is kind of a sham place, and he was there, and he was on a day we were evangelizing. He hadn't participated in any of the evangelism, but he was sitting in front of the clinic, and I just couldn't resist going over and talking to him, and stuck my head in the clinic, and it was all dark. You couldn't see anything in there. And so I asked him with an interpreter, you know, why he was there, and he showed me all of his medicines, and he showed me his what medicines he took every day, and very open about what he thought was wrong with him. He thought he had malaria. I think he actually had AIDS based on the medicines he was taking. And but they call malaria, they'll use malaria as a diagnosis instead of AIDS for the stigma of it, so that people don't think they have AIDS, because then they're fearful. So he was there to get a shot once a week for like 30 weeks. He needed to get a shot, and he had his vial of medicine. He had 20 shillings in his hand, which is about a quarter, and that was half of his weekly earnings to get his shot. So he walked 2 miles to the clinic to get his shot, so that he did that once a week. So I thought that was just really cool thing. So thanks so much.
Hi, my name is Mary Jo Schaefer. I'm relatively new to the class, and I always sit back in the corner, so many of you up front have never seen me. I was working in the village of Bondani, and I was on the medical team there. And tell you a little bit about me. Ann is great because she's a family medicine doctor. I'm an OBGYN doctor.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so when I went the first time in 2007, what motivated me to go was reading the scripture and it saying, what good is faith without acts? And I had to think about what had I really been doing to show my faith. Little did I know at that point, my faith was going to be so strengthened by stepping out and just letting God take over. So this has been a wonderful, wonderful experience for me. I've had Autumn Trail, who is a junior college student, and I had Allison Litzinger, who is a high school student. Me and them were my medical team. And this was the first time we had this experience, like Ann said, of going out into the homes. So when I found out who my medical team was with me, you know, initially I went, oh my God, they've never even been to Kenya before. They're going to be going to the shanties. They're going to be seeing things they've never seen before. Oh, this is going to be a mess. But then I had to step out and say, you know, God, like Shirley said, it was a God thing. These girls were wonderful. I mean, absolutely wonderful. There was not one thing I asked them to do that they refused. They learned how to take temperatures, how to take blood pressures. They played with the kids when we went to the shanties when I was checking the mothers. They would hold the kids while I was checking the kids, and they just had a wonderful attitude. They do have some medical services out in parts of the slum, but to give you an idea, this is what an AIDS clinic looks like. It's not too pretty. We went out into homes, but when people found out that we were going to be in the community, many people will come to the clinic. So here we are in the clinic. This is Francis. He's a Kenyan registered nurse. And this is Ann. She was our trade trainer and translator. And that's Autumn. That's the mom over here in the white blouse. And this is her little boy she brought over. You know, I think when I first went, I had the idea we were going to be going and doing for them. But I want to tell you, we really value